Hey, these guys are professionals. They're the best.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the last of the reviewy type videos I'm doing for 2022. So I don't know if it's the last one you'll see, because I'm not sure about the scheduling yet, but it's definitely the last one I'm filming, and then it'll be moving forward from then on into January. But I wanted to do my 10 favourite books I've read this year, so 2022. So it's the first time I've done this, and it's quite a common thing to see on BookTube, but I want to put more standard regular features in the channel, like my upcoming appearance of the monthly roundup, which will start at the end of January, those kind of things, because I just feel it feels right, the right thing to do. So I'm going to do my 10 favourite books I've read this year, and a few of them were read quite early in the year actually, when I picked my 10, which is interesting. Quite a few of them were read quite early on, but let's have a look at what they are. So I was trying to read quite a lot of Stephen King this year, but I didn't get through that many. But I did read Salem's Lot, and Salem's Lot is definitely one of my favourite Stephen King novels. I thought it was fantastic. It's obviously very famous. I'm sure you probably know the plot, but it's a vampire story, and I love the way it builds up. He's good at doing that. He can overdo it sometimes. I think that's probably quite a common criticism of how he writes, but he's so good at doing it that you usually forgive him when he overdoes it. But this, I thought it was just the right length actually, so I didn't feel like he'd overdone it in this one. And you really do get to know the town, and it's genuinely thrilling, and the villains are well depicted. There's two villains. There's like the vampire and the vampire's assistant, and yeah, not to spoil how it develops, but it's really good, and the finale is really good as well. So yeah, again, see, I haven't got an issue with his endings. I keep reading his books and thinking his endings are fine. Maybe I need to read something that has got a notoriously bad ending. Don't know, but anyway, really like this. I read this in March, I think. But yeah, Salem's Lot. This was Bloody Rose. This was the sequel to Kings of the Wild. Kings of the Wild, absolutely love that book. But I actually like this more. So I have done a proper book review of this book, which is coming out soon on the channel. But I really like this. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like the characters more. I just really like the way he writes. It was really, really good. And with my delve back into fantasy in the last couple of years, this is definitely a big highlight for me. I love that sort of loose plot where it's not about this grand heroic quest thing, and they're sort of more reactive, and I love that. But yeah, really good. But I'd massively recommend this if you like fantasy stuff. But I think you'd probably enjoy this more if you read Kings of the World first. So I do think it's a genuine follow-up book that makes sense. You could read it without, but there are some character elements that I think would mean more. But most of the characters are new to this book, though. This is the band of mercenaries it's about, and none of those, well, except Rose, but the rest of them are not in the original book. But Rose is, she's the damsel in distress, I guess, in the first book, but now she's leading her own mercenary band. So yeah, really, really good. That was another book that I loved. I've mentioned this before a few times because I really enjoyed this. Final Empire, so my first Brandon Sanderson book, and obviously he's very famous, very popular, very successful, and also very prolific. He's written tons of stuff, but this was the first time I've read anything by him. So this is the first of the Mistborn books, and really enjoyed it. I like the way that the magic system works, which I don't normally have an opinion about, but it's so well done there that I think it kind of stands out. And the two main characters are really interesting and well depicted. There's a bunch of other characters in it that have got their own personality in that, and the tone of the book is just really good, and you just fly through it. So this was quite a big book. I think this was the biggest book of the year that I read, but I read it quite quickly because it's so much fun. This was an interesting one. So Autonomous is a book with loads and loads of themes going through it. So this is my first book that was written by Annalee Newitz. I've got another one of hers to read. I'm looking forward to reading. Clearly, very good writer. Really interesting themes in this, because this is like a thriller plot based around someone trying to uncover a pharmaceutical company's exploitation of the people with their drugs. But around that, there's a whole load of other stuff going on about human rights, robot rights, robot identity and human identity, related to gender and sexuality and slavery. There's issues of slavery in it as well, and discussions about what it means to be autonomous and what it means to be a slave status. And there's all sorts of things going on with that at the same time that this essentially a thriller plot is happening with this drug company, and the main character is on the run from those people that are trying to stop her from uncovering this conspiracy kind of thing. So yeah, really, really good. Loads going on in it, and definitely recommend it. Autonomous. This is another one I've done. I think I've done a special video on this one a few months ago. So this is Brave New Worlds, and just full of great stories. So there's a general theme, which is hold on, try and make sure you can see those authors. General theme is dystopia, or dystopian ideas, and great stories, just really, really good stories. If you ever see this one, and to be fair, John Joseph Adams seems to be a really good editor of anthologies, so anything like that. But yeah, Brave New Worlds is really, really good. It's got just fantastic stories in it, and the J.G. Ballard one, the Ursula K. Le Guin one, the Kate Wilhelm one, and the Ken Liu one. Fantastic. I did some time travel reading because I knew I wanted to do a second time travel video, which I did. Some point late next year, I want to do my top 25 novels or stories on time travel, but I'm going to read a bunch of other time travel books before I do that, which is why I'm saying it'll be the end of the year. But this, I absolutely love this. David Gerrold's The Man Who Folded Himself. So this is like time loop heaven. If you're interested in time loops, then you like the fact that this is a character that tries to manipulate time, and it just keeps creating consequences he's not expecting, and he has to keep going back, and it's fantastic, really good. So The Man Who Folded Himself and Replay were my two favourites of that period where I was reading lots of time travel books to set up my second video on it. So yeah, that was really cool. Binti. Binti is another one that was a real favourite this year. Definitely interested in reading more Nnedi Okorafor books. I've got Who Fears Death there, which I bought because I wanted to read more of her stuff. This is a science fiction story that explores identity a lot, and the springboard for a lot of the perspective changing with the main character is from the fact that the main character is initially from the Himba tribe, who have got this huge part of their culture was based around their skin and their hair. And I can't really spoil it, just read it. But there is something that happens with the skin and their hair early on that changes everything. But it's all about this interaction that Binti has with this alien race that have been threatening and in fact murdering her shipmates on this spaceship. But yeah, read it's really, really good. So a few more, 3 more. This was a book I read in March, which was part of the March Mystery Madness, because I thought it was going to be a mystery about someone's murder, and it wasn't anything like that at all. And it was really good, and it wasn't the sort of thing I'd normally read, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the characterization, the family characterization, the family interactions were absolutely amazing. And this is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. There's 3 books, I think, around now. There's Little Fires Everywhere, which I keep seeing, but there's a new one as well. So I need to read those, because I do like the way she writes. But it was really interesting. Like, it's all around the breakdown of her family from one of the young members of the family's death, and you don't really know exactly what happened until the end of the book, and it just plays out really well. So yeah, that's brilliant. And this is the 4th book in the Wayfarer series. I read that this year, so I finished the Wayfarer series. Becky Chambers is brilliant. She's one that I don't think everyone would love what she does, but if you do love what she does and how she writes, then you'll love everything she does, probably. There are weak and strong spots, so out of the Wayfarer series, my favourite one is still the 2nd one, but this is really good. I think the weakest one's the 3rd one, but this is really good. So this is about lots of different races, like one character from each race that's stuck because of a technical fault at this space station, and they can't move, and it's like the way that their characters interact, and some have been scarred by war, some have got preconceptions about other races or other aliens, species, and all that kind of comes to a head while they're there, and it's just brilliant. And the way that characters evolve as well through a story that doesn't actually have a lot happening, but that's the magic of how she writes. Not a lot happens, but a lot happens. And the last one I'm going to mention, which was thanks to June on the Range, which a lot of these were thanks to book events, and this one was June on the Range, and that was Sisters Brothers. So this is a really good Western story. Don't normally read Westerns, but I really enjoyed it, and it was funny, it was unpredictable, it was well paced, as most of those books were that I've just mentioned. Actually, pace is a really good, important thing for me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really charismatic writing, charismatic characters, very real characters, and I didn't know where the plot was going to go until the end. So, Sisters Brothers, a Western story that I really enjoyed as part of June on the Range. So there we are. Those are my 10 favourite books that I read this year. Looking forward to I've read loads of really good stuff this year, so I could have picked another 10 books, so that was really good. And next year I'm expecting it to be even better, knowing what I'm going to read. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But anyway, tell me what you think of those books. Have you read those books? Has your curiosity been tweaked by me mentioning those books? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Picture